Hello, everybody. Can mice take antibiotics? Good question, Loki. Also, hello, nice to see you. I think so. I think they probably could. However, I'm currently taking probiotics, so I cannot. Can't have a probiotic and an antibiotic. Same time, they fight inside my body. My body becomes a battleground for the biotics. Which screen am I making too big? Zooming in on a different panel. Not panel, different page. Because we must remember, Yakult is a probiotic. And if I were given the choice between either giving up Yakult and being healthy, guess what? Staying with the Yakult. That is a joke, of course. I'm not on antibiotics for this. But if you take enough antibiotics, you can have as much probiotics as you want. That's a good point. Very good point. Hi, Maz. Hey, Zombie Slayer. Oh. Pretty good. I'm happy with that. Just one last thing to do on the on that layer. How's everybody doing? You guys know that I'm unwell, but I'm here. Mouse, have I ever read the Game of Thrones books? I have not. Have you? Wrong way. You should be asleep getting up in under 5 hours, but here you are. Well, oh, and no, you haven't either, but you know, that's bits of pieces of lore here and there. Oh, cool. That's cool. Um, Loki, yeah, you should probably be getting some sleep. You got somewhere to be in 5 hours. I'll admit, I haven't been sleeping well myself. Well, I slept better last night, but the night before, as you guys can guess. Hold on, is that too low? Just turn the music down a little bit. I've been sick. I've been quite sick. Basically just a gastro bug, but it like the first night where I was actually like genuinely sick, it like hit me so fucking hard. And that night I was like, oh god, like I felt it so like strongly that I went to the hospital to get it checked out. And I was pretty much there till 6:30 in the morning. So I went there at like midnight, and I got out at about 6:30. So I didn't really sleep most of that time. So I get how you feeling, Loki. Mouse, can you repeat what you said about your previous chat? Internet cut out. I just responded to what you said, and just that no, you haven't either, but you know lots of pieces of lore here and there. Yeah, and I thought that's cool. That's about it. I didn't have much of a response, really. You said zombie needs to get better internet. That's true. That's also true. That's absolutely not good. Well, you're not wrong. Yes. Gotta get that internet fixed. My goose. A bit better than Australia's internet from what you hear, Mouse. Well, from what I've seen, you're incorrect. Guess again. Australia's internet is not great, but it's not that bad. Your phone has better internet than your hard lines. Yeah. Most likely, honestly. You're in America. America and Canada. Way better internet. Okay, there we go. This is a pretty new angle. You can't see internet or Wi-Fi either, but you still believe in it. Dumbass. Door. Can't see oxygen either, and you still believe in that. Oxygen and sound waves. Just like you can believe in wind with grass as the proof. I believe in internet because of the anime it gives me as proof. That's a very good argument there, Loki. I fully agree with you. We cannot see it working, but we have the proof, the evidence of its mechanized workingness. Mechanized workingness? What am I saying? It exists. Sorry, just answering a text. I'll be back with you guys in a moment. Mouse, what were D&D supposed to do with Star Wars? That was the extent of your knowledge, so I'm lost. DB Weiss and David Benioff were originally slated to write and direct for a Star Wars movie or Star Wars TV series, and then with the end of the final season of Game of Thrones, they were cut from it. Like the series that they were slated to work on, they were removed from because they did such a poor job and they like rushed the production to get to the Star Wars stuff. That's as far as I know, because I kind of stopped watching Game of Thrones well before that even happened. Like those events transpired, and I didn't trust them either. Um, so yeah, that's all I really know of it. You were going to say the internet proof rhymes with corn, but decided to be classy. You don't need to be classy. Very good point. You don't need to be classy in my chat here, Loki. You're all good. But yeah, the proof is in the pudding. Not that bad. There we go. Nice. Um, oh, so they didn't get the Star Wars position due to due to them failing Game of Thrones. Yeah, pretty much. That's what I've heard anyway. Have you heard of an anime called Ghost Stories? I have. Yes, notorious. A notorious anime known as Ghost Stories. I know of it. That was later. I'm getting it on DVD, and they did a re-release with that dub. Oh, that's amazing. That's so worth it. That's super cool. I mean, dumb, but like amazing. You've heard lots about Boku no Piku, and it's always something bad. Yeah, because it is. I think Boku no Piku. I've never seen Boku no Piku, but yeah, I think I've heard plenty of bad things about it as well. There we go. Just a very weird angle to be drawing at. Uh, did you show me the Asuka from Evangelion statue you're getting? I think so, yeah. It was several months ago, so you forgot. I did see it. It was very cool. And I think our conversation that we had around it was like, oh shit, that's super cool. I'd actually be tempted to get one myself. But I actually feel like I'd actually have to have watched Evangelion. And I can't just get it just because it's cool. I think, though, sure. Um, it's in the same order. Oh, nice. Nice. Mouse, do you think at some point of getting rich as a show slash movie director, they stop caring about how much they have and they want to be known for making something as popular as Star Wars, Marvel, and Lord of the Rings? It's a perpetually building, not greed. I think greed's probably a bad word for it, but ambition. In that they've made they made a series that was relatively successful without the TV series, but not mainstream. Like, arguably, it wasn't a mainstream thing. Then they believed that that was because of what they did, their ability to adapt George R. R. Martin's work to the big screen. And I think that got to their head a bit. And as a result, they believed that they kind of had the kind of freedom and free reign to kind of do whatever they wanted. And that they had the ability to make anything and it would be popular. As a result, like as they started to stray from the books because the books didn't exist for the sections of the series that they were now addressing, um, they started to falter and issues started to arise because it didn't fit the mood or the nature of Game of Thrones or the writing and the like progress that they had built up from the books, basically. So really, the stuff that everyone likes about Game of Thrones is George R. R. Martin's work. It was just adapted well to TV, and you can see with House of the Dragon, D&D did not produce or write for like direct for House of the Dragon, and that's still widely very popular. That's because it's built off of the foundations of George R. R. Martin's work on, the prequels, or not prequels, but the predecessing works of Game of Thrones. Do you think they forgot who was the big dog at the top? I think more so than that. I think they believed that they were. I genuinely believe that they thought that they were the ones who made this series good, and as a result, they completely fucked it over. Because, like, look at it this way: Elden Ring has one of the best stories we've seen in games for a while. Like, it's got a really good story. George R. R. Martin wrote some of that. Most of that, really. He wrote the background and foundation of the world of Elden Ring. George R. R. Martin is a great writer. That's a fair assumption, even if it's false. That's what it seems like. Yeah, yeah. Because they were kind of surrounded by yes men who were kind of riding on the success of Game of Thrones. And so as a result, they believed that they could do no wrong. And ultimately, you know the saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Um, so they were bound, like, given that much power and position in the zeitgeist of popular culture, they were gonna fall apart at some point. Oh, damn, that's right. They got him for ER since, of course, they have the same basic setting. Well, it's complicated. So, what I know about George R. R. Martin's involvement in Elden Ring is that Hideo Miyazaki asked George R. R. Martin to not write the story for Elden Ring. They had already sorted that out and have had plans for that since before they reached out to him. They wanted him to build the background, so write all the characters and like the power structure and power struggle that happened prior to the events of the game. Not a From Software fan, so you know nothing about their games. Yeah, yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, so they got him to write on Elden Ring and write the background to it and the history of Elden Ring, like the history of the world, basically. And what I found really interesting is that during the period of time where um, people were like, "Oh, he's never going to finish Winds of Winter," I think is the one that's supposed to be coming out at some point or may never come out. And when people were like questioning him about that, he was like, "Oh yeah, um, the writing I've done for Elden Ring is done. It's done." Because people were like questioning him and like, "Oh, he's writing for Elden Ring, so it's never going to come out." But he was like, "No, no, my writing is done for this. For this, I actually have nothing left to do on Elden Ring." History of the World Part One. Hmm. Whoever said to get George R. R. Martin on board had some fucking common sense and got the best person for the job. I think it was Miyazaki's work because, uh, the one thing you got to know about Hideo Miyazaki, even if you don't like the From Software games, he is incredible. He is an incredible game developer. He knows what he's doing. The Mel Brooks movie. I don't know that one. Not heard of it. Damn it. Fucked something up. Let's just zoom back in. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's fine. Do you think that he finished it rather quickly since there wasn't as much to write? Or is there more for ER compared to what he writes? He kind of just built the story, not the story, he did the world building and the history building. So I can't be sure how much there was to write for him, but it wasn't like that big of a task really. He was almost more a consultant for the most part, and then wrote the wider historical aspects of the Elden Ring world. It's good, but not Men in Tights good. You would put it right below Spaceballs. That's fair. That's fair. Spaceballs is really good. I haven't seen Men in Tights, but I know Spaceballs is very good. It's a shame we don't have movies like that anymore. Just goofy for the sake of being goofy. I mean, it probably doesn't help that Mel Brooks is sadly no longer with us. He can't write and direct those kinds of movies. But yeah, Blazing Saddles is still your favorite. Was also your dad's. Honestly, Blazing Saddles is so good. I fully get that. Let's just see how complicated this panel ends up being, because I feel like it's not going to be. Actually, let's do my patented grey mouse childish coloring in phase, so that I just get all the colors in the right place. It's old, but Starship Troopers is goofy for the sake of being goofy as well. That's fair. Yeah, it's older movies like that actually like just had fun, which you can feel when you watch it. Stop trying to kill Mel Brooks. He's still alive. Dang it! Oh shit, is he still alive? Why is he not making movies then? I didn't realize. It's Gene Wilder who's sadly passed on. I forgot to say, and I thought you guys would like, especially Zombie Slayer, because he likes to see me suffer. But I thought you'd get a kick out of this. So like when I was really sick, after the stream on Sunday, I like went to bed, was like freezing, and so I was under like a bunch of covers. But then woke up in the middle of the night in like just sweating. I felt like I was on fire, and I was like, oh, I really need to vomit. I really need to vomit. So I got up and I stumbled towards my bathroom, and I'm saying this very like upbeat, but I collapsed and I slammed my face into the door frame of my bathroom. So now I have a big wound on my face, which I should have drawn on my mouse. But who has the time? He made History of the World Part 2 this year. You didn't know that. Oh, I mean, it is a joke on the American military industrial complex, so you're all here for it. That's fair. Was in Hotel Transylvania 3 and Toy Story 4. Oh, I didn't realize. Well, I'm glad he's still around then. And clearly doing well. I mean, relatively well. Because I'll be honest, Hotel Transylvania, those are movies I could not give a fuck about. I'll be real honest with you, gang. Could not give a fuck about those movies. Whoa, 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 fucking relax. I'm not a monster mouse. Jesus Christ, don't put me in that boat of people. Still funny though. Yeah, exactly. He's only doing 1 or 2 projects a year, doing as well as he can for being 96. Yeah, exactly. Like, holy shit. He doesn't need to work that hard. Definition of a kid's movie. Yeah, it's like, this movie doesn't hit with me. It's like you're not the target audience. Time has moved on and it has moved on without you. And I'm like, I am fully aware of that. But I do find it funny. This is like, you shouldn't be asking, like, admittedly, my opinion does not matter about a kid's movie, but it's just like, I love that I'm just like, I couldn't give a fuck about this movie. It's like, yeah, children, Grey Mouse. Not for fucking dinguses. Probably like, I didn't hear no bell and death is my bell, so shut the fuck up until then. Yeah, pretty much. He seems like the kind of guy. Oh, that's a different panel. We're not there yet, but we will get there. I feel like we'll get there this stream, even. Maybe not that one, but the next one. It's not a complicated panel. $15 later and still sad about George Carlin. Yeah. Not a movie for gorgeous Aussie art streamers. It's not for you, Mouse. Yeah, fair. Fair. Just don't get the humor. Kids. I also kind of don't like Andy Sandberg. He's just like, he's one of those funny guys who I find it kind of annoying. I think. Apologies if that's a hot take. But it is what I believe. Way too ahead of its time. Yeah. Got a message I might just quickly. Army face. Isn't he in all of the decently okay comedy movies? That's what it feels like. Yeah, probably. Oh, Andy Sandberg? Yeah, probably. Like, here's the thing. He's not a bad comedian. And in his own personal life, he also seems like a pretty okay dude. Like, genuinely pretty okay. Like, a decently nice man. Alright for the most part. Not committed any crimes or harmed anyone. Because there are celebrities and comedians who are fucking awful people. Like, holy shit. Like, what's his name? John Mulaney. What a fucking piece of shit of a dude. Convinced his wife that he didn't want kids, so they aren't gonna have kids, and then cheated on her with a woman during a coked up bender, and got her pregnant, and then decided to raise the kid and leave his wife. It's like, holy shit. All my idols are dead and my enemies are in power. Yeah. Seems like a good and honest person who just goes out to Walmart in normal ass clothes because he can't care enough if he tried. So props to him for that. Yeah, exactly. And it's like there is a certain like category of celebrities who are like, I feel like I wouldn't get along with them as a person, but I wouldn't get into arguments with them as a person. And I think Andy Sandberg and Adam Sandler are two people who fall into that category. Adam Sandler is kind of like a special case though in that regard because Hubie Halloween is one of my least favorite films ever. I fucking hate it. So I feel like if I ever met him, I'd maybe punch him for that. But after that, I'd be quite cordial with him. I feel like he's owed that much for that film. That's fair. Dot dot dot. Okay, I didn't know that specifically about John Mulaney, but good lord, yeah, holy shit! I didn't know that for a long time, but apparently his kid with Olivia Munn was conceived while he was still married and while he was on cocaine, which is pretty heavy. He's a piece of shit. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty nasty. And then there are, of course, like celebrities that I do just like, even though I've never met them, I do just dislike, and for good reason, of course. And he has a bit about him being cheated on, so he hated her. Yeah, exactly, which is just such a um, hypocritical stance to take. It's like this dude is, yeah, and like also some of his comedy bits are about him being a good husband as well, which feels like really on the nose. All things considered, she can do what she wanted. Yeah. Thoughts on Kubrick? Kubrick is so for what I don't know the actress's name, but from The Shining, the way he treated her was fucking awful. I think the Kubrick method of directing is also pretty like fucked in that he'd get his actors to do maybe 400 takes of a single take because that's what he believed to be like the most honest performance is from actors who are exhausted. They would give the most honest performance, and therefore the Kubrick style in his mind. That being said, he did make good films, which does not condone his actions. But to me, in a weird sense, provides method to his madness. Not the way he treated that woman um, in The Shining, but the other stuff, like the 400 takes and things like that. Like, there feels like there's reason for that in a weird way. Not great reason, but like reason. Adam Sandler's movies are okay, but he does get a ticket to VIP human, so he can make as many decent movies as he liked. Yeah, that's pretty fair. That's my thoughts. Also, I appreciate the art, but I'm not okay with how it was achieved. Yeah, I think that's super fair. And it's very much like the laws around the way, like, the way actors can be treated and stuff like that has changed quite significantly. And admittedly, because of things like that. But as a result, it's important for actors to actually be safe on set. Evan, my fucking dumbass. Um, oh, did you spell heaven right? Oh, heaven wrong. Yep, you did. It's okay. That's okay. I was like, maybe he's talking about a movie. I didn't even like fully notice. Um, but like, yeah, Adam Sandler's movies aren't hurting anyone, which is good. Kubrick's films did hurt people, which is worse. So there's like everything taken with a bit of a grain of salt. One thing I find very interesting is that if you like talking about directors and their films and stuff, as an ex film student, one thing I find remarkably interesting is that once you know the history and background of Woody Allen, his films become a expose on um, weak self esteem or the the fragility of a man with weak self-esteem, because all of his films are almost blatantly obvious in the way that they're written, in that they are written from the perspective of a man who has very poor self-esteem. And it's quite a fascinating study if you're ever looking for something like that. And then there's child actors not getting paid for what they did, and their parents parents take care of it. Yeah, that's fucked. Just like you love the products of Tarantino and Whedon, but yeah, exactly. Mouse, what's my unpopular opinion about anything? Anything? You're asking what my most unpopular opinion is? Uh, that's tough. Give me a moment to think about that. Most unpopular thing. Opinion. Other than Ducky's story. Hmm. Most unpopular theory. We're talking films. I think that people can say, "Oh, but it's a subjective enjoyment." Films can be objectively bad, and you can still subjectively enjoy them. The truth between objective and subjective value of a film is that people actually need to realize. So this is my unpopular opinion about films: that some people need to realize that a film can still be objectively bad, and you can enjoy it. Objectivity and subjectivity in film is not this or that. It is this and that. So a film can be, and often or sometimes is, objectively bad, but subjectively, it you can still derive enjoyment from it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But people need to realize that just because you enjoy a film does not objectively make it good. Just anything. Didn't say most unpopular, dumbass. What's your unpopular opinion about anything? I was assuming most unpopular because ultimately, if you're just saying unpopular opinion, I could just say anything. And that's not very interesting conversation. My go-to hot take is High School of the Dead is 10 out of 10 masterpiece. And that's fair enough. That's your subjective opinion. That's good. That's absolutely fine. But objectively, yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things that I just I came to learn or understand is that objectively speaking, there are films that are bad that people really enjoy. That's okay. But it is still objectively bad. If a film makes you laugh from how little it makes sense, then that counts. I mean, I guess it could. Yeah, sure. Beautiful. It's a beautifully done homage to the old B zombie horror movies. Yeah, which is really cool. Yeah. One of the things that it always annoyed me is that people will argue about a film's quality based on how much they enjoy it, and they don't recognize the bias that comes with that. You understand film concepts and technicalities of film, then you can understand, or that you can enjoy a film in that way. Um, but you can also recognize that it is technically not very good. A really good example of this is from a technical standpoint. Nope is a great film. Cinematography wise, excellent. Uh, However, objectively, from a story writing standpoint, it is nothing, like nothing new, which is tragic. Like it's such a poorly written story in a weird way that most people don't recognize it because of the technical strength and progress of it. Uh, it's also about youth in revolt. Loki, can you post a link? Go for it. Also, bad movies can serve as an example of listen, okay, this is what you should do. I don't know what you should do, but don't do this. Yeah, yeah, exactly. They provide context. Let me. Oh, you've given me a Trojan virus. I can't play this on stream, of course. I definitely can't play this on stream. I'm gonna let videos beautifully sums up why you like it. I might, so that's now in my history, so I'll be able to find that again. That's great. I was like, I opened it and immediately, like, it's the shot that I know quite well. I shouldn't have said it like that. The shot that I have seen before of the bullet passing between two breasts, and I'm just like, oh my god. Let me guess, it starts with the bullet. Yep, yeah, exactly. And I was just like, I can't show this on stream. I can't show this. Loki, you trying to get me banned? Help me reach affiliate. Now he's trying to get me banned. Gotta keep me on my toes. Something you don't like is parents posting so much content on YouTube about their kids because that is out there for anyone to see, and especially for future kids to use as a way to bully those kids. Yeah. Um, because of that video. And since the kids can't consent, it doesn't matter what they say. So happy most of your life isn't out there for people to see because I don't want people to see it because I fucking said so. Yeah, exactly. And like we've all done embarrassing shit as kids. The fact that some kids like embarrassing little moments that don't matter but will, live in their brains rent free are now free, like can be freely available for people to watch over and over, and god forbid it goes viral. It's horrible. As kids, some of us did it last week. Yeah, that's true. I slammed my face into a door frame like a few days ago. Like, you imagine. It's, yeah, and I really hate those like YouTube families that a majority of their content, oh Jesus, wrong color. A majority of their content is just their kids, and it's because they have like absolutely no fucking personality of their own. And so when their kid is like, you know, bright and funny and like is just like a kid, an interesting kid who kind of bring like sparks joy and like and whatever into the lives of their families, the first thing they do is they put them up on YouTube because they think that through their kids they're going to become famous because they just have no fucking personality of their own. And it's like it's just cringe, it's just cringe. You post videos with your kids and stuff. It's like, fuck, what are you doing with your life? It's really fucking annoying. And the videos are cute and adorable about their kids. However, those kids don't even really know what they're doing. Yeah, exactly. And it goes viral. They're like a child star, and now they don't know what to do with all that influence and power. And like, yeah, exactly. And like, the worst part of it is that none of that, none of that benefits the kid. Like, none of it benefits the kid. All of that, all of those like rewards and stuff go to the parents. That's why you hate your mum in a way. Don't want pictures of you on Instagram, and you don't want that you don't want that. Yeah, that's fair. I think in the modern age of social media and stuff like that, there is a lot that we've unlearned or um the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? Morally uh accepted almost is that social media expands the bubble of not influence but uh transparency to the world. And so when we post stuff, even if we don't expect it to go far, we can't necessarily guarantee it won't go everywhere. It's like, if you're posting like pictures and stuff of yourself, that's absolutely fine. But like family members and stuff like that, that's not okay. Like, at least talk to them about it first. I think that's the most important part. But people don't get that because it's the landscape has changed, stuff like that. It's not even embarrassing photos. You just don't want pictures there at all. That's also fair. Yeah. It's just one of those things. Do you feel bad for little kids who are like 6 months old to fucking 13 years old, and that's prime ammunition for bullies? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it sucks because like the kids have no defense for that, you know. And like worse still, it's like if your parents are those kinds of people who have no concept of like self-awareness or awareness of other people, they don't even recognize that you're like that what they're going to do will cause you harm or will cause you to be bullied in some like capacity. I have a story around this. I knew a kid whose mum was one of those mothers who would post stuff, and I think it didn't help that she was also like one of those army mums where she wasn't in the army, but her husband was, so she believed that she deserved the same respect as a serviceman. So she was one of those mums. But I remember once she posted something on Facebook and tagged her son in it. She called him like a spunky monkey, and as a result, he got like the absolute hell bullied out of him for that. And it's just like, well, like that's not the kid's fault. Crazy mum. And then if something bad happens from that content, that's the parents' fault, and they'll say we never meant for this to happen. Well, then don't put it out there, you fucking idiot. I mean, it'd be nice if we, didn't have to worry about bullies at all, of course. Like, admittedly, kids can be really shitty, but also we don't know the whole truth about their, like, home lives. So as a result, it's like, yeah, really the parents shouldn't be posting content about their kids in a way that they wouldn't say to some random person on the streets. That's weird. No parent should call any child spunky anything. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's super fucking weird. And like admittedly, like this is also not condoning the bullying action. The kid was, he was one of those kids who was very prone to being bullied because he had a certain kind of personality which was abrasive for most people. But even so, you don't necessarily deserve, no kid deserves to be bullied. That's why at your graduation you didn't fucking care since you were forced to take pictures, so fuck my parents for that. Yeah. Well, there's no winning, right? There's no winning in those situations. That's okay. I don't like my picture being taken even on a good day. I get where you're coming from. But sometimes it is nice to remember those things. I guess posting it on social media is weird. But again, it's the landscape. The landscape has changed. And the ethics around it have changed. So it's a hard thing to gauge nowadays. Oh, that's brown. I almost went, oh, that's poo. And that's not correct. It's brown. And if you got super famous or some shit, you could do stupid stuff with that power, but you're still an adult who has a fully functioning brain to process what's happening. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like you look at some of the like TikTok stars now who maybe posted like one video that blew up, and then from there they were just like shunted to a life of fame. And like you see the parents behind it, and it's just like, holy fuck, these people are psychopaths. Like they're just using their kids as launching pads for their own